Hey guys, Sonny Bryson here, and as you guys probably know, I make videos about money and investing and finance, but every time I make one of those videos, people ask me this one question, okay? Tell me, how do I invest the way you invest if I'm not in the US, okay? And if I don't have all of those options. So that's why today, I'm making a video about the best brokers out there internationally, so you can actually come ahead and invest in the US stock market if that is what you want to do. And by the way, I have people from India, Kenya, Canada, Asia, that's a continent, okay, from all over the world watching me that want to know exactly, well, how do I invest? But if I'm not a resident or, for example, a citizen, and that's why today I'm going to break things down. And by the way, I'm well aware that if you live, for example, outside of the US, usually it is a little bit more complicated and difficult to even get money and opportunities. So that's why I really want to make this video. That way, there is no misconception or rumors, and you know exactly what your options actually are. And by the way, if you're new here, guys, I post videos every single day on YouTube, so make sure to also subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified. And on top of that, also destroy the like button. Now, the very first thing, guys, I want to do is basically put down this very stupid rumor, okay? I hear this all the time. Tommy, if you are not a resident or a citizen, you are not allowed to invest into the US stock market or any US stock companies, okay? The answer is that's BS. It's not true. It's stupid. Don't believe it, because basically you don't need to be a resident or a citizen to actually go ahead and invest in the US stock market. So right then and there, just put that right outside of your head. Like, why wouldn't the US want funding from like the whole country, from the whole world basically? Why wouldn't they want that, okay? So that right there is a complete lie. Don't listen to it, okay? But there is one thing you do need to know. It is going to be a little bit more difficult if you're not a citizen or a resident to actually get approved. And that's because basically there is a second layer of identification. Now tell me, why is that, okay? The answer is, guys, as you guys know, 2001, September 11th, right? We all know what happened on that date, which then led to the Patriot Act, which means that basically, if you have someone doing weird stuff with money to then grab that money and hurt people, you don't want that person to go ahead and basically use that money to invest into the US stock market. So basically, what the Patriot Act says is that any broker that wants to accept international clients has to go through a frivolous or a very thorough identification process of who that person actually is, okay? Because the last thing you want is a bad person with very bad intentions investing into the US stock market and making more money, and before you know, using that money to then go ahead and do bad stuff, okay? So if all you want to do is invest into the US stock market and make a ton of money, the answer is no one cares, okay? Just go ahead and do it. If what you want to do is you have like a bad history with like bad stuff, like, by the way, I mean the T word that ends with rism, okay? Just to make that very clear, okay? Like very bad stuff. The answer is they're going to be very thorough and find it out and then not allow you to do any of that stuff whatsoever, okay? That's the entire point. But just like normal individuals that want to be rich, the answer is you're good to go. You can go ahead and start investing into the US stock market. Now, usually I have you guys wait until the end of the video to show you guys exactly what your options are. But because I know you are very curious and want to know exactly, well, Tommy, what broker is going to accept me? I want to know. Well, here it is right here, guys, okay? Right here, guys, to my left or to my right at this point. I've forgotten if I'm on the right side or on the left side. I just don't know. It's like right here though, okay? I guarantee it. Well, the answer is, guys, that basically this website is called stockbroker.com, and there's also a link down below. And if you just put in, for example, your country name here, it'll tell you exactly what your options actually are. That way, there is no, hey, go do an hour research or all this stuff. No, there's a website right here that tells you exactly what your options are if you're not a citizen or, for example, a resident in the US. So say, for example, I live in Kenya, okay? That's in Africa, right? In Kenya, what are my options, okay? The answer is I have Interactive Broker, and I also have Lightspeed. And by the way, if you're on this website, make sure to just refresh, because basically you can't really select things after you put them in. It's very stupid, but it's just the way it is, okay? So let's say, for example, I'm also from Dominican Republic. And by the way, guys, if you guys don't know, I'm actually Dominican, okay? I just told you a little secret there. But right here are my options: Interactive Broker, Ameritrade, and also TradeStation, and also Lightspeed. So obviously, I have a few more options than the person that lives in Kenya. Now, let's say, for example, just reload this right here, and let's say I live in Canada. Well, Canadians have a ton of options, trust me. So here you go. Interactive Broker, Charles Schwab's, Lightspeed. Well, not that many options, but you do have some options. So if you want to find out right now and you don't want to wait until the end of the video, well, just go to the website, link down below, and find out exactly what your options actually are. But by the end of this video, I'll tell you about taxes and problems that might arise, and on top of that, my review on some of these brokers right here and which ones I actually recommend. And by the way, if you go on the website and you don't have any compatibility whatsoever, like no one is going to accept you, I'll tell you exactly what to do. Okay, so stick around to the end of the video to actually find out exactly what your options actually are. Now, number 2 here, okay guys, tell me, well, what other problems that I can actually have when it comes to investing in the US stock market? And by the way, guys, as you guys know, I recommend Acorns, M1 Finance, Vanguard, Fidelity, but a lot of these platforms don't accept it because basically it's very complicated with regulations, taxes, language barriers, and also complexities going from border to border. So usually only the big firms allow international trade in because it's a lot more hefty and a lot more to actually handle. So there are options out there, but just keep in mind, okay, Acorns, M1 Finance, those apps are not there just yet. So don't get discouraged. It doesn't matter. It's the same exact thing, just a different dressing, okay? Whether it's Fidelity or Ameritrade or M1 Finance, at the end of the day, all you're doing is buying an investment and holding it and making money. It does not matter, so don't worry about that, okay? But let's talk about taxes, okay? Tell me, what are the taxes that I am going to be due for if I start investing in the US stock market? And I'm laughing because basically there is no way around taxes, okay? You are going to be taxed in some way. Now, as you guys probably know, in the US, you have, for example, capital gains tax and also qualified dividends and also unqualified dividends tax, okay? And the answer is, say, for example, you are outside the US and you actually make a trade and you actually made some capital gains. You actually made a profit. The answer is, if you're not a US citizen, you will not be charged capital gains tax. But if your country charges it, well, in reality, they will go ahead and charge you capital gains tax, okay? And they might even withhold some of the money your broker might, okay? So just keep that in mind. There is no way to evade taxes here. Whether the US charges you or your country charges you, someone is going to tax you some way, somehow. So don't try to do something tricky to basically get away with not paying taxes, okay? It's not possible. But there is a small loophole depending on where you actually live, because if your country has a treaty with the US, okay, in reality, you might qualify to actually get taxed at a lower rate, which, if you ask me, is awesome. Now, to fill this out and to find this out, you have to go to the IRS website and fill out a form W-8BEN. So that's W-8BEN to basically say, hey, I'm not a US resident, I'm not a citizen either, but I do have a treaty. Well, my country has a treaty with the US, so I should not be taxed at a super high tax rate. And if you don't fill out this form, you might get taxed at a flat rate of around 30% on your dividends and also potentially also your capital gains. So just keep that in mind and make sure to talk to your broker and also your accountant to find out exactly what your best options actually are. And on top of that, guys, here are some more things you might need if you want to get in with one of these brokers. The first thing is this, okay? You will need all of the documents proving exactly who you actually are. That way, they know you're not trying to do something bad with the money, and they know exactly where the money actually is coming from. So keep that in mind and expect a very thorough identification check. And I keep pausing because basically I can't say that word very quickly. On top of that, also keep in mind some of these brokers will require a minimum investment between $2,500 up to $25,000. Some of them don't, but some of them actually do. So you might need some extra money to actually start investing in the first place. So just keep that in mind. Now, guys, number 3 here is let's go over some of the options when it comes to the platforms you can actually use and which ones I actually recommend. The first one is actually TD Ameritrade, and here's a little PNG or, for example, picture of it. That way you know exactly how to spell it. Also, description down below with everything I'm saying in this video. That way, if you get lost, everything is down below, and that way you can look it up on your own time if you actually want to. But here it is right here, guys, okay? To my right is a full review of TD Ameritrade, okay? And the answer is currently, they don't have any trading fees. For example, no minimum deposit, no stock trade fee, no ETF trade fee, which is awesome. But they do have, for example, a mutual fund trading fee, so keep that in mind. And on top of that, also a broker assistant trading fee. Now, tell me, what is that? Basically, if you want to call in Ameritrade and say, hey, can you guys make a trade for me? This stock right here, they will charge you $45. Okay, so just don't do that, and just use your phone or your computer to make the trades yourself. Okay, so if you do want to make over the phone trades, it will cost you a hefty penny. So just keep that in mind. And by the way, TD Ameritrade is literally one of the best ones here. And as you guys can tell, okay, they have 5 stars on everything, research, and on top of that, they have excellent customer service, which is basically the only thing I actually care about, okay? Customer service has to be solid, especially when you're international. And they actually support over 100 countries. So you're actually pretty likely to get TD Ameritrade to actually accept you also. And the second option, guys, is actually interactive broker. Now this one right here, I'm going to show you guys right here to my right again. And basically is also pretty good, a pretty good review on it also. By the way, everything I'm saying here is also linked down below. That way you guys know exactly all the information on this platform right here. Now the tricky thing is that basically, guys, when you go all the way down to stock trade fees, it says literally no answer. Although they do have some fees on some stuff, like for example ETF trades, but although it's not that much either. But when I went to the official website, it said free, 0 commission US stock trading, but you might want to call in and make sure everything is okay and they're not charging you a ton of money every time you actually make a trade. And by the way, these people right here are actually in around 220 different countries in the world. And I found that weird because basically, according to Google, there are only 195 countries in the whole world. Okay, so I don't know where the extra 15 came from, but that does mean that they'll have like a lot of options out there. So just make sure everything is good and call in before you try to do anything. And there's no minimum investment, which is also pretty awesome, but there is also no fractional shares. So do keep that in mind, meaning that if you want to buy a fraction of a company here and there, you can't do that. And neither can you, for example, with TD Ameritrade either. So keep that in mind. And the last option, guys, here is actually Charles Schwab's, okay? And this one right here is also pretty good. One of the best companies when it comes to investing, especially in the US, but they're only available in around 100 countries, okay? And by the way, there is no information on this here on this website, but in reality, I found out something that you might want to know, which basically means, guys, okay, by the way, everything here is good, okay? Minimum deposit, 0, stock trade fee, 0, ETF trade fee, 0, exactly what I like to hear. But there is one thing, okay? When I looked at the company on Google, I looked at, for example, Schwab's International One, well, there's actually this document right here that says, hey, let me zoom in so you guys can actually see it here because you guys can't see it and I can't see it either. Let me zoom in right here, okay? All the way right here. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. It basically says you require a minimum deposit of around $25,000 if you are an international customer. So keep that in mind. It is pricey and it's not for the average person that just wants to actually get started, okay? So overall, when it comes to options, when it comes to stock market, just go on the website and find out exactly what option is best for you and then read a review on it, then call the company and make sure everything is official and you actually qualify and there are no crazy minimum deposits. So just keep that in mind right there. And by the way, if you don't have any options whatsoever, the answer is you might want to look at international brokers where you actually live. And there should be some available, but as you guys know, there are over 195 countries in the whole world. So I can't tell you guys exactly where to go for each of these right here, but the answer is just go on Google, type in your country and type in, for example, international brokers, and you should get some options to start investing into the US stock market. And guys, one more tip here is this, okay? Before you start investing, make sure, okay, you have no crazy amount of debt. You're basically have some savings also, and you also have income coming in, okay? And you also understand exactly how investing actually works, okay? Investing has risk to it. It's not that simple, but it's available to every single person out there. And if you want to invest the same way I invest with ETFs, I have a link down below to my portfolio. I know you can't invest into it directly, but the answer is you can go ahead and copy it over to your international broker and basically do exactly what I do, and that way you're also good to go. Guys, I hope this video helped you out a ton because basically I grew up in Dominican Republic, St. Thomas, Tortola, the Virgin Islands, on top of that Puerto Rico, then I came to the US. The answer is also Barbados. The answer is there are a lot of different countries out there and you might want to invest and you might not know how to. I told you how to, and hopefully now you can go ahead and get started when it comes to your investing journey. I'll see you guys next time. Comment down below and let me know which ones are available in your country. Comment down below. I want to know. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. As always, if you like this video here, well, like this video. On top of that, also subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when I post a new video. And before I go, if you want to text me or talk to me, start my Patreon, link down below, or send me a DM on Instagram at Tommy Bryson. And if you want to watch a video, guys, on basically my portfolio and how it's been doing on my dividends, watch this video right here. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.